Pause Live, the UK's largest menopause event. Get solutions to your symptoms. Meet over 70 brands and laugh out loud at our live stage. Plus, free taster sessions in our wellness hub. Come and connect with your tribe. Tickets are from just $10.99. Get your sparkle back and head over to pauselive.com.
Hiya.
Hi.
Charlotte.
Hi.
Charlotte, welcome to the nest.
I know,
Charlotte,
I'm so excited.
Are you excited? We're excited. So, Charlotte, tell us all about yourself, because you're a very successful businesswoman as well as being an ambassador for the menopause.
Well, I'd like to say I'm an ambassador for midlife rather than menopause. I think when you use the word menopause, everyone goes, oh.
I know. Why is it always men? We want to know, why is it always men?
Yeah.
Menopause, menstruation, men this, men that. I mean, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, and they can't own our menopause, they can't own it. But no, I would say I'm more of a midlife marvelous person. I like to promote midlife, and I think you ladies, which is why I'm so excited to be on here, you do a fantastic job of showing what midlife should be like. So yeah, big up to the Wonderbirds for that.
I love that midlife marvelousness. Love it.
Yes. Exactly.
Marvel.
Well, the thing is, Charlotte, when people go on, and I'm sure we've had this conversation quite a few times about the menopause, but it's menopause lasts, and then it's not, it's a few years. Then what's everyone going to talk about? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the people now who are advocating this and going, yes, 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 they've got to know that it carries on. So it shouldn't just be about that.
I've done really well with that though, because my being an entrepreneur, and I'm gonna own that word. I started in aesthetics, so I used to run aesthetic shows and aesthetic events. That was in my late 20s, 30s, and then obviously now I run Pause Live, which is the UK's largest menopause event in London. And I think then next I'll go on to dementia, so I'll have it all covered. Every decade I'll be doing something where I can get some help with my own symptoms.
There is an awful long time between the menopause and dementia. And so what happens? What are we going to say to people now after the menopause? What's going to be the buzz thing then?
Well, I think our generation are refusing to grow old gracefully. Or, and that's why there's been so much chatter and so much talk around it. I mean, my mother's generation would cut their hair short and put their hands in the freezer and get on with it. And I think we're the generation that is saying, no, we're still sexy. Trouble is, a lot of us look a lot younger. So we're actually in denial that we're going through the perimenopause. So I think that can be a big issue. But I think I have had 3 hours sleep, just so you know, right? Anyone that's listening, if I do lose my words, it's not my brain fog, because I'm very lucky I'm on the right hormones. It is the fact I've only had 3 hours sleep. So
no, we have no excuse, and we don't know what the hell we're saying most of the time.
Exactly. So Charlotte, where have you been?
I've been to Antalya in Turkey. I just needed a whole week of relaxation. The show's in September, and as you girls know, I mean, you've been filming your Beauty Investigate show as well, haven't you? Which we're really, really excited about, is to have you ladies there at Pause Live. We're going to be speaking in the afternoon, and we're going to be speaking about the marvelous midlife, but we're also going to be talking about, the tweakments that you can have, because one of the things that really what's the word, excited me was seeing women's face light up at Pause Live when they realise that you can sit on a chair and that helps your, you're not getting up to go for a pee in the middle of the night. All of these treatments that are out there, as we all know, because we work within that sector, there's some fantastic treatments, aren't there, that women just don't know about. And then when they come along to events like that, or they watch Beauty Investigates, they're getting to learn about all these fabulous treatments that you can have, and which can really change your symptoms during midlife, whether it be your skin, your dry vagina, whatever it might be.
The dry vagina.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Do you remember when Dee had her ball last year? What did you come up with? Vaginas and vulvas, was it?
Yeah, chocolate vulvas. Chocolate vulvas. Actually, we've got these big designed, haven't we, vulvas, and we were running around London because a lot of people don't know the difference between their vulvas and vaginas. Now, come on, girls, like if we want to be taken seriously and we want to level up women's healthcare, the least we should do is probably be able to name our body parts correctly. But it was shocking during filming in London how many men knew what a vulva was, but women were like, not so sure. So it's really interesting that, you know, men have
Well, I suppose they have more interaction with it than we do, particularly.
Exactly.
Don't you think?
Hopefully.
Yeah, 100%.
You said you wore them on your heads. What, it was like they were hats?
Sorry. No, they were actually all in one vulva. So you put it in and your face goes through. I'll send you some pictures, Natalie. If you want to borrow it, we do loan them out. We've got a brown one now. So, and we've also had them bedazzled.
We could all go in them. We could all design some for Royal Ascot, couldn't we? Could all wear them in different colours.
Yes.
What a good
that would be
idea.
brilliant.
That is
Are
a
you going to
brilliant idea.
Ascot?
Now, girls, I know we know this, but Charlotte doesn't know this. But our editor, Hass, can you imagine how he is at the moment? He's watching this. He must be absolutely. We are driving him mad. It's going to get worse, Hass.
I know.
It's going
The
to.
therapist is standing by, Hass.
Yeah, carry on.
Not that left.
It's a good show.
It is going to get worse.
It is. Charlotte, it is going to get worse because you're doing something else, aren't you? With a certain.
I am. So I am, and I'm going to try not to use the W word, but I am self-pleasuring for a whole week. Okay. And we, for Paul's Live, we're working with a company called Dame, which do the best sex toys, as far as I'm concerned. I can vouch for these because I've been using them, and our case studies have been using them. One of the girls in the office is a case study, and she has been bouncing around like a bunny. She's literally, so I think what we don't realise as women that, I mean, I've always loved a good, I was going to say the wank pipe. What's in it? What did I say?
Because I don't know, it's sort of, that seems more of a manly word. We need to make a nicer ladies' word.
Yes, let's
invent one.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I've always enjoyed self-pleasure. And when we partnered with Dame, I thought, actually, I would like to do it for a whole week and then speak about my experiences. So I started yesterday in the cabana on holiday with this little baby here.
Who's that?
Baby here. Oh, this little baby here. Okay.
Oh, hang on.
I know.
Now you
Very
see, if that's
cute.
in my wardrobe, I'd use that to put my boots on with.
I'll send you one. It's got your purpose. I didn't think getting this one out in the cabana would be a good idea. I thought that might be a bit
more like
yeah.
it.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
That's very
That's more-
pretty.
Do you know what that looks like? That looks
Well,
like
I'm going to send you some.
Oh, please do. That looks like a thing that a man has in hospital when he does a wee-wee.
It does a little bit, doesn't it, actually? I haven't used this one yet. I'm going to save that for the weekend. So, yeah, the whole idea is... Go on.
Charlotte, what's that first one you showed us? How does that work?
It's just for your clitoris. So can you see on there? Just got the clitoris. And I think the thing is with midlife, what we forget is that our clitoris actually shrinks. Did you know that? And that, I mean, like nothing else shrinks. Everything else
Everything
does.
shrinks, though. Your face shrinks, your bones shrink. That's why you get wrinkles, you know, Charlotte. Not because you're getting old, but because your face is getting smaller, and so that's why all the skin gets loose.
Yeah, and it all gets loose, doesn't it? Yeah.
I'm a nervous wreck. Everything's something
else is shrinking.
Everything's shrinking. I've got to use a shoehorn to pleasure myself. And wow! I've never
And it's not even 12 o'clock on a Monday.
So tell me,
Charlotte,
tell me the name of that company. Is it Dame?
Dame, yes.
There is nothing like a dame.
That one.
Nothing in the world.
Yeah.
How long does one self-pleasure for? Now, I like to self-pleasure for a while. You know, once I've come once, I want to come again. Now, that's, you know, I'm not sure if everyone's like that because this is completely new to me, sharing this information with the world. But yeah, what's your self-pleasure, Debbie?
Um,
Oh, I'll put you on the spot now.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it hasn't been happening for a while, but it's now starting to resume.
Yeah,
We were sent something last year, wasn't it last year, girls?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bluey, I call him.
okay.
He's lovely. He sits in my bedroom cabinet, private place. He's very what he actually bends and does all different sorts of things. He's rather special, actually. But yes, he's coming out of his I was going to say shell. He's not in a shell, but he's in a box. So yes, starting again, I think, because I think it's very important, especially if you're going to be starting a new relationship or want to start a new relationship, to get yourself back in the saddle, as it were.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting that you should go on to relationships as well, because with one of the on the live stage, we've got a fantastic panel. We've got talking about relationships. We've got Sarah Davison, the divorce coach, and what we're talking about is the positivity about when women are over 50 and they start dating again. They know what they want, don't they? And you know, once they come out of this, but particularly the menopause, I hate the butterfly eulogy, but what I do like is the fact that I've come out the other end now. Not getting any periods is just like wonderful. And like you say, getting your sex drive back is really important, because you do lose that, don't you? You know, within that period. Not for everybody, I'm sure, but I did lose it, and that's quite.
Now, I think
hard.
the reason we lose our sex drive, okay, and this, Natalie, you might disagree with me, but it's because of men. Because the men that we like the look of are no longer the men who are our age, because they've all gone off by this time. Most men over 50, I don't care if I'm being, you know, whatever, except for George.
Controversial, Debbie.
Yeah, they don't take, unless they're in a relationship, they don't really take care of themselves. And the only reason they take care of themselves in a relationship is because their wives do it for them. Don't wear that, cut your hair, do this, you need to look fit. And so guys who are on the dating scene, who are over a certain age, are just not good enough and not sexy either. I mean, the fact is that we start getting hairs on our chin and they start getting tits.
Yeah, yeah. And their big bellies on holiday. I was like pregnant men walking around, and they even hold them, which I was like, what?
Now, Natalie, what? She's married, you see. She's a woman
married
who's
to
been
a
married
golden
for
old
1,000 years. Go on.
Oh no, my husband is gorgeous, and he's an older man. And no, I think there are a lot of very gorgeous golden oldies out there who do take care of themselves and who do keep fit. Actually,
but they're not single, Natalie.
Ah,
right.
That's what
Debbie,
I said.
Debbie, I'm gonna put it on my quest to find you a hot man and a very good wing woman.
Are you?
Yes, very.
Oh yes, we've been wing women. We've actually, Natalie has been a wing woman to Mandy Hickson, haven't you? She was one of the only 4 women in the world, I think, to be an RAF fighter pilot.
Wow.
And she is.
Read about her.
Yeah, she's fantastic and a wonderful speaker. And she is one of us, isn't she?
But she's also got a very hot husband, right? And so we all, on Debbie's birthday, we sent her a message and we said that we wanted a threesome. Well, you said, didn't you, Debbie? Yeah. You wanted a threesome. And then I think Nat says, and I said we wanted a fivesome. And apparently her mum was listening. Her mum. And she said her mother's eyes were getting wider and wider.
So have you pulled that off yet? Because that sounds like another show in itself, really.
Well, but I'm not really into girls. I'm so sorry, Nat. I know you've loved me for a long time.
That's the sad bit.
That's where you're going wrong, Debbie.
I know. But so you're going to send us these sex toys to try?
I am, yeah. And then obviously we can talk about them at the show if so be. But the whole idea of doing this week. I mean, one of the things I did notice is that I didn't want to do a whole week of self-pleasure on holiday, because that's easy, isn't it? You're feeling sexy, you know, and you're drinking mojitos at 11 o'clock. You know, I need to squeeze it into my usual manic week of so it'd be interesting. I might have to do it in the office.
Wouldn't it be
as well.
hilarious to put them on a saga cruise?
Wouldn't
Oh my
it?
God.
Ross?
Oh no, that is the funniest thing is seeing all these older people saying, excuse me, could I have an orgasm, please? Could I have 2 orgasms?
Yeah.
And the waiter saying, yes, madam, or yes, sir. And an orgasm is Cointreau and Bailey's mixed. And
We had a
And
few of
apparently,
those.
if there's more stuff added, it becomes a screaming orgasm.
oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, Dee and I would, when everybody gone back to go to sleep, Dee and I would often go into the sort of cocktail lounge and probably down about 5 of them. We were
Guilty.
completely on a ship trying to find your way back to your cabin when you've had 4 or 5.
When you've had 5 orgasms.
Yeah, exactly. Very
Do you know
difficult.
what? I actually hate to say this, but I've just turned 50 and I think I want to go on a saga holiday now. So this is
Oh, they're
great,
great.
right? Did you have a great
At
good
your
time?
event, darling, you should be serving people orgasms and screaming orgasms.
Well, actually, we have got a cocktail menu as well. So you've just come up with a really good one. So we've got 5 different cocktails that we need to name. And obviously that hasn't been high on the priorities. The priorities have been getting these wonderful people to speak. There's a lot of education there, which I think is really important because I think it's a very confusing time, especially perimenopause, because when it hits you like a sledgehammer. And I don't think anyone's really prepared for it, are they? I know I wasn't. It was like, what the hell is this? You know, what my confidence, all of those sort of things just went overnight. And literally, you age, apparently, a doctor was telling me this at a conference, you age 9.5 years within the first 6 months of perimenopause. And I thought, actually, I did age so much within that time. It must be fact. Did you ladies find yourself, you know, around that time? Did you feel like you were aging? How did you all feel? I'd just be interested.
I put on 4 stone, Charlotte.
No.
4
Wow.
stone. And
I can't imagine you.
I didn't know about that, you know, that it was the hormonal thing. I just thought it was my lifestyle. You know, I thought, I'm eating too much. 4 stone, but I've lost it since.
Oh, well done, well done.
Wake up with terrible sweats. I mean, like wringing wet. Absolutely awful. My skin was terrible. I did a show in the 90s on a television show, and it was a true story about this woman who was a lesbian and lived with another woman, and in her menopause she changed so much that she fancied this guy, right? And she had an affair with the guy, and when he dumped her, she killed him. Now that to me was the menopause. Because
yes, you can get away with that sort of stuff. I mean, you could lick a lamb in Marks and Spencer's and be like, well, it was a menopause, you know?
Yeah, the menopause.
Or you know those things on Apple, whatever, you know, all the crime investigates things. We could have menopause killers.
Yeah. Love that. I bet there's loads of them out there. They just need to come forward, step forward. Please contact the show. If you've murdered anyone during the menopause, it's fine.
In other words, not crimes of passion, crimes of menopause.
Yeah, crimes of hormones. I think that's some people sell for it though. I mean, I have yet to meet someone who hasn't had any symptoms at all. Wow. Yeah, but you're not even peri yet. I mean, look how young you look.
Debbie,
no, I mean, maybe a few mental nervous breakdowns, but physically, no.
Oh, that's
and
good.
my mother didn't either.
Yeah. And how were your periods? How were your periods?
Well, no, they were sort of all right.
Because they do say, don't they? If they have a bad period.
But the thing is, the girls have heard this 1,000 times, but this is absolutely true. So my mum, whenever it was, when she was probably around sort of mid-50s, said to me, darling, I had the menopause yesterday. I said, yesterday? And she said, yes, I was so hot. I stripped off all my clothes and thought, this is it. And I feel fine now. And she never mentioned it again. I remember thinking how hysterical that was. So fast forward, 20 years later, and I'm in Edinburgh doing a play, and all of a sudden I feel the heat, and I think, well, this is it. Same thing, threw all my clothes off, next day, nothing.
Oh, so yours lasted a day. That's amazing.
Wow.
I'm in awe of you. I really am.
You're
No,
in
but I
tonight.
think it's hormonal. The other thing I think, I think it was because I always used to take supplements from when I was in my early 30s, because I always thought that why do people take them when they're going through the menopause? Why don't you start taking them in your 30s? So I started taking soya, and I think it was called estroven or something like that. It was natural, all natural, and I took it for years and years and years, and I had the feeling that is what helped me not have no
That's
symptoms at all.
wonderful.
They're
We
saying
need to
that.
be more prepared, don't we? I think that's the thing. I think that now the future of medicine is so bright. I think there's lots of things happening out
But
there.
I think you shouldn't start
Yeah.
when it starts. You shouldn't even wait for that. I think you should start
Yeah, you hit
in
it
your
now.
30s, because obviously everything starts to dip.
I think you've got to look at what you're actually taking and what it's for and how much is actually getting into your system. So yeah, there's some fantastic supplements available though, aren't there? I mean, I take about 4 or 5. But I'm scared to cut any of them out now, aren't you? Just in case all of a sudden everything I stop feeling well.
I was bleeding very, very heavily. Went on for about 4 years, on and off, really, really badly. And doctor just kept giving me stuff to calm down the bleeding. And I have the symptoms, I'm sure a lot of them were to do with the menopause, but my body was in a complete state. It turned out I went to see an acupuncturist and they said, go and get your blood tested, because you look as if you have no oxygen in your as you could tell by my eyes and the tips of my fingers, and my blood count had gone right down to very, very low. And it turned out, when I asked on the acupuncturist's suggestion, I asked for an internal thingy, and it turned out I had a blooming great huge fibroid, which was causing.
That's really common.
And I was, I was so angry that the doctor hadn't, sent me to have that properly looked at. And they took it out. I thought I might have to have a hysterectomy, but they didn't. They managed to take it out, size of an apple. But it was causing me such horrible symptoms, which I'm sure they were all mixed with the menopause symptoms as well. But literally the next day after that thing where they took it out, I think they chop it up and then they suck it out of you or something like that. It was gone.
Sounds pleasant.
I was better, and I was so pissed off that I'd had to have so long suffering without somebody really taking notice of all these strange symptoms I was having. So my menopause experience was probably mixed up in the middle of all that, but I don't really know what was the menopause and what was that. Do you know what I mean?
If you look at the States, where everybody has their own gynecologist, they have a much easier menopause. Their percentage of people that are on HRT and things like that is much, much lower here. And that's because they've got good gynecologists and they've got, they have a completely different sort of healthcare. So I think anyone listening that's having that, don't put up with it. There are lots of things that the doctors can do. There's lots of tablets on the market as well. I also just wanted to say one thing before we wrap up. Is I do have some fabulous VIP tickets here. So if any of your wonderful viewers would like a pair, if they can just make a comment, we would love for them to come along to the event and see you guys in person, which would be worth it. And obviously they will get some merchandise sent to them as well. We've got all sorts going on here.
Ooh, I better enter this. You promised to send us some vibrators. I can't wait. Perhaps we should have our own pleasuring week. Anyway, we've got to go now. We've got to go and fly off.
Charlotte, lovely to see you, darling. We'll see you again soon.
Yeah, see you guys. So thanks for having me. And as I say, sorry, I'm just not my usual lively self, but I'm going to go in the bathroom.
Oh, I think you've been pretty lively.
Yeah, I think you've been pretty lively. In fact, Charlotte's the easier one to talk to. The other one is like,
is this your shy retiring day? I don't think so.
Yeah, it is. I've got my love eggs in though.
Good girl.
See you later. Thank you for having me. Much love.
Bye.